I'm just walking around the garden today, seeing what's up growing. This down here, there's two plants. They're both forget-me-nots. There's a young one there and an older one there. You can't really see the older ones because it shriveled a lot. Its leaves grew black and it stopped being happy. And the smaller ones thrived. But what happened was it was had too much water in its pot. And so I thought, oh, my plant's dying. And I came out here to plant it and it's yet to survive. But the small one's doing really good. And I like these ones. The leaves are really pretty and everything. It's got a nice look about it. And it grows really easily. These ones are just good growers. I mean, they grow pretty much everywhere and are really good. This one is so pretty. It's sort of one of those ones that attaches itself to something. And it's got a really striking leaf and it just is a different angled differently. This was ambiguously potted in a pot. The ones that I planted in the ground died, but this one survived, so it's growing. This one here is very striking. It's just got a really good leaf on it. It's really decorative. When I first planted it, I was like, I'm not sure if I planted it correctly because the roots were really long. I didn't have the biggest hole in the world, but ever since it was planted, it's sort of grown really well and it's really I thought it was going to die at first because it seemed kind of wilted when I first replanted it. Because it was a big plant with a good root growth, and I hadn't really dug that big a hole to replant it. But I thought, oh, it's big enough. And since then, it's just thrived. In fact, there's a little baby suckling over there, so it's like the same plant, so it's obviously doing well. This one here is one of my plants. I grew it up in the greenhouse. And then I was like, it doesn't need to be in the greenhouse. I'm pretty sure it can do well in the ground. So it was the first one that I grew in the greenhouse. And I planted it out here because I didn't really have enough room in the greenhouse. And I think I dropped the pot as well. I didn't really want to, get more dirt and repot it. So I just planted it instead of got more dirt, repotted it, and make sure it's okay. So I had some difficulty just with the repotting, like it wasn't straight and everything. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to plant this one in the ground. It's lost more than half its soil. I don't know about its root condition. And I'm like, I just plant it in the ground. So in spring, there should be more flowers growing on it. And they're a pretty purple one. And that's a ground cover too, so it'll end up expanding out. These are like a succulent. They're one of my favorite plants to actually plant and use as like a decoration for a garden bed because they're nice and hefty. They help ward off bad weather, and they're sort of windproof, and they're really attractive. I really like them. They get a nice big flower in the middle. Here, there's a nice big flower that comes out when it's flowering time, and it's a really attractive plant, and I really like it. And if I had my own place, I mean, one of the first plants I would plant is one of these ones because I think they're really awesome. Saying that, they take 3 or 5 years to actually grow pretty big to this size. I mean, I think this is a 5-year-old plant that was recently transferred from a pot to the ground. It's doing really well, but literally they take forever to grow this big. So this is another plant of a similar one to the one I showed before that I just planted in the ground, and I wasn't sure if it would survive. I mean, a lot of other plants that I planted around the same time didn't survive, but this one did. So it's growing well. We have so many aloe vera, and we don't even eat it, but if we wanted to eat aloe vera, we could because we have so many aloe vera plants. I just find it a really attractive plant. If you actually use it for food or medicinal or drinks or whatever, you just break off a stem of leaf, you gut out the insides with a spoon or so, or peel it somehow. Some people just peel the exterior off and then to get the jelly inside. I think you just add it to, blend it into a drink or something. Or if you want to use it as a beauty balm, just smash it and then put some on your skin for beauty balm. but it's quite a weird little plant. But it grows so well, and I'm like, if I also had my own place, I would grow like we grow aloe vera here. I would grow a few plants and watch them get real big. Once again, same story with this one. When I planted it, I literally had only a little hole and it had huge amounts of roots. So I sort of put the roots on its side. And it took a little while to stabilize, but now it's like doing really well. But I literally like did a L shape with the plant here and the roots here. And but it's grown quite well. So it didn't mind its little ditch with the roots awkwardly placed. So it's doing quite well, and I'm sure roots have the capability of digging down kind of attitude. So these basil bushes are just really lovely. They just grow in pretty sunny conditions. Like if you have them in the bright of day, they just get really big, really bushy, and they're really attractive. They smell nice. This is literally our biggest avocado tree, and the expectation is that it will fruit this year. So I've had it for like a year, and so it's probably going to fruit. When we bought it, it was like a little bit of a mature sapling, and we put it in the ground, and it sort of thrived. And it's like, this is our biggest one. It's like, come on, we're going to get avocados this year. I think this is the what do you call it, olive tree in its 4th year. They have gotten 1 or 2 olives in the last year. But it's still growing, and it's like, I don't know, looks like the tops might have been chopped, which is a shame. No one believes me that CLR will get rid of any fungus on your plant. You just water it down with water, and you just lightly brush it, and then it'll get rid of all this fungus that grows. But anyway, they're getting bigger. They're not big. 4 years into it. Come on, guys, you gotta go in your growth spurt and actually produce a decent amount of olives so that, everyone can eat them. This is our macadamia tree. We've never had a successful macadamia tree before, and this one was bought, a few weeks ago. So within the last month, and it's going well. The leaves are green. It's not dying. It's growing new leaves, so it's pretty happy. But we've had around 4 other plants. They all died in like the first month. So this is our first successful one. I think the difference is it was planted with sand and stuff. I think before the other person just put it in the ground, and I'm like sort of teaching them as I do my plants the necessity for sand as well as soil. So these ones are hard to sort of look at because they're just baby plants. These are all daffodils. So there's one more there. There's a little baby one over here. Where's my finger? There it is. And then I've got a third one that's come up recently. Where is it? Down here. Here it is. Yeah, that's the third one there. These are my other daffodils. They're the potted daffodils that I sort of planted a year ago. So this is their 2nd year. They had to sort of die off and go through a regrowth period. And now they've got really long stems. They're probably going to produce very nice daffodils during the daffodil season in spring. But they've really, like, after dying off last year, I was like, oh, that's it for my daffodils. But this year they made a comeback, and their leaves are better and stronger, and so they've just regrown really well. I've been told these are freesias. I always wanted to call them zinnia, but I was told no, they're freesias. Whatever these are, I planted these a couple of years ago, and they died off twice when it was no longer their season before they made a comeback this year. And they're so big and long, so if your plants die off, sometimes it's not the end. You just wait till the growing season and they might make a comeback, and that's what these potted plants have done. They've just made a comeback after they've virtually died off, and you're like, oh my gosh, my plants died, I have to plant a new plant. And you're like, no, don't touch them, just keep watering them. And then by the next year, when they're due for sprouting, they'll sprout back up. So like I said, this is like their 2nd year, and they're doing fantastic, so I can't wait to see the flowers in spring.